They were couples who made love look effortless, smiling in videos, dancing in sync and finishing each other's sentences. Millions watched, liked, and shared. On TikTok, they were couples who had it all: the chemistry, the content, the picture-perfect lives. But off camera, it was chaos, jealousy, control, and in the end, murder. These are the stories of 3 couples who lived their love out loud on social media, but died in silence behind closed doors.
This incident started at about 6 o'clock on Sunday night near the 700 block of Mallet Hill Road.
A correctional officer with dreams of law school, a young mother just days away from graduating, and a power couple who built a faith-based empire from nothing. All gone. Not from strangers, but from the very people who once said, "I love you." This is not about clout. This is about what happens when toxicity turns fatal and when love, filtered for likes, hides the darkest truths. These are the true stories of TikTok couples that were so toxic. They killed each other. But before we begin, if you find this video interesting, please give it a like at the end and tell me what you think about the case. It really helps the channel. And don't forget to subscribe for more. Thank you.
Who was interested first? Who said I love you first? Who's more protective? Who cleans more? Who eats the most? Who spends the most money? Who is most likely to start an argument? Who falls asleep first? Who is more annoying? Who loves the hardest?
Wynter Straw was just 25 years old. A mental health officer at the Broad River Secure Facility in Columbia, South Carolina, Wynter worked tirelessly providing crisis intervention and support to inmates. She was known by colleagues as dedicated, compassionate, and full of life. Beyond her demanding job, Wynter dreamed of going to law school. She was ambitious, with a heart to help others and a bright future ahead. But Wynter was also a rising TikTok influencer, sharing dance videos, beauty tips, and glimpses of what looked like a happy, loving relationship with her boyfriend, Renardo Johnson.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, because I know they're probably putting the camera in your face right now. But I love me some Jay-Z.
And their TikTok clips showed playful moments, a picture-perfect couple to their millions of followers. You could see him doing dishes, or giving her money, or just flirting with each other. But behind the scenes, however, their relationship was far from perfect.
Little dookie booty, go on and get in the camera. Yeah, bitch, this is for Keisha, because you clearly ain't learned your lesson the first time. Tell her what the fuck I said.
I can't fuck with you.
Louder.
I can't fuck with you no more.
Cause what?
You messing up my family.
Now, bitch.
However, their love grew even stronger. He was with her day and night when she needed medical care.
Come here, come here, come here, come here. Come here, yeah, come, bitch, yeah.
And even when people advised them to go separate ways because of what they were noticing, the couples had a perfect answer for the haters.
I'm still alive. I'm still alive.
Renardo, who had been with Wynter since she was a teenager, grew increasingly possessive and controlling. As Wynter's online fame grew, so did his paranoia. He checked her phone constantly, questioned her about messages. Wynter hid these struggles from friends and family. There were no visible bruises or signals to warn the world of the pain she endured.
She was a good friend, good sister, great daughter. All around just a good person, a rising star. We didn't see any signs, no signals. It wasn't like she was coming around us with black eyes or anything like that. So there was none of that. It is definitely a betrayal. Because this man looked me in my eyes all the time. And whenever I would talk to him, I'd say, I'm giving you my child, a wholehearted, bubbly personality. And that's how I want to get her back. And he always assured me he would never do anything to hurt my child.
However, friends noticed cryptic posts Wynter made hinting at heartbreak and trouble, but the full extent of her suffering remained a secret. However, on March 26, 2023, tragedy struck. That evening, outside the Carrington Place at Wildwood apartment complex, a violent argument escalated. Neighbors reported hearing screams and crashing sounds. Moments later, Wynter was found lifeless, shot by the man who once claimed to love her. But Renardo barricaded himself inside an apartment, leading to a tense standoff. Hours later, deputies heard a gunshot from inside. Renardo was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound and later died at a local hospital. His death closed the legal chapter with no trial and no sentencing.
By the way, the suspect in that hours-long standoff was found with a gunshot wound to the upper body. Deputies say he died from his self-inflicted gunshot wounds around 11 o'clock or so.
Wynter's family was devastated, shattered by the betrayal and the sudden loss of a daughter, sister, and friend. Her mother, LaShawn Williams, described Wynter as a beautiful spirit who didn't deserve this. She had welcomed Renardo into their home, believing he loved her daughter and would protect her. And the shocking part was that the crime was premeditated. He had made up his mind that if she can't have her, then nobody will.
This was not a spur-of-the-moment thing. The young man, it was premeditated. He thought about his actions and he carried them out.
In the wake of the tragedy, Wynter's family has vowed to turn their heartbreak into purpose. LaShawn has become an advocate, speaking openly about domestic violence and the silent suffering many endure behind closed doors. She wants Wynter's story to serve as a warning and a call to action, to raise awareness about toxic relationships and empower others to seek help before it's too late.
We want to make it clear, real clear. Domestic violence is not a joke. It's not something that we should take lightly. For those of you that are posting on Facebook and doing all that unnecessary stuff, I don't care what a person does to you. You don't have the right to take her life. You don't have the right to put your hands on nobody.
A vigil held in Columbia brought together friends, family, and community members to honor Wynter's life. Candles lit the night as people shared memories, tears, and prayers, a reminder of how quickly a life can be lost and how vital it is to recognize the hidden signs of abuse.
When people think of Wynter, I wouldn't think of just a sweet, innocent girl who was out here trying to make her mom proud, make her family proud, and just to do what she loved most.
I'm the baby of my family, and so she was my little sister, and so it just hurt me so bad because I wish I was there for her. I wish I was right down the street. I just wish she would have called. But now I just want everybody to keep us in your prayers. Long live Wynter. I love you, baby girl.
Wynter's death is a tragic example of how love can turn deadly when control, jealousy, and violence take hold. But Wynter wasn't the only one who believed she was safe. Jessica Edwards thought she was too, until it was too late.
How can someone pretend that they didn't know what was going on with her, and all this time they knew what the heck was going on? Like, you must have played it out real good for thinking nobody was going to come out and do nothing.
Jessica Edwards was a young woman full of promise and love. At 30 years old, she was balancing motherhood, education, and her dreams for a better future. Jessica had earned a bachelor's degree in English from Eastern Connecticut State University and a master's degree in social work from Simmons College in Boston. But she wasn't done. She was pursuing a degree in respiratory care at Manchester Community College and was just days away from graduating from her clinical training at Hartford Hospital. In October 2020, Jessica gave birth to her son, Jaden Edwards Hutchinson. She and her husband, 22-year-old Taj Hutchinson, lived together in a condominium in Cinnamon Springs, South Windsor, Connecticut. To the outside world, they seemed like an average young family navigating life's challenges. On Mother's Day, May 9, 2021, Jessica spent time with her sister Yannick and their mother, a day filled with family warmth and love. But the next morning, everything changed. Around 2:30 a.m. on May 10th, Jessica sent an email to her professor at Hartford Hospital, notifying her she would not attend class that day. Later that morning, between 6:30 and 7 a.m., she left her South Windsor home with an unknown person. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. Taj Hutchinson told police that Jessica had left with friends in an unidentified vehicle. However, investigators quickly grew suspicious of this story. South Windsor Police Department Sergeant Mark Cleverdon said authorities doubted Taj's version of events from early on. Jessica's family quickly became frantic. They reported her missing, launching a desperate search for answers. Her sister Yannick took to Facebook, posting an emotional plea. "I'm not going to give up. I will search the world for you, Jessica." The local community rallied behind the family. Social media was flooded with the hashtag number #FindJessicaEdwards, with TikTok creators and other users helping spread awareness and keep the search alive. Law enforcement stepped up efforts. The Connecticut State Police Major Crime Squad joined the investigation alongside South Windsor Police. Search warrants were served on the couple's condominium and 3 vehicles on May 14th, with evidence seized the next day. K-9 units combed the area for clues. Meanwhile, Taj Hutchinson appeared publicly as a devoted husband. On May 12th, he shared the South Windsor Police Department's missing person alert, asking for information. The same day, May 12th, he posted a photo of himself, Jessica, and their son, writing, "My heart is broken right now, shattered, and my emotions all mixed up. Please, 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 wherever you are, come back safely." He pledged full cooperation with police and portrayed the image of a grieving spouse. But behind this public facade, a darker truth was unfolding. On May 21, 2021, Jessica's decomposed body was found in a wooded area at the entrance of the Hockanum River Linear Park off Chipper Drive in East Hartford, Hartford County, almost 2 weeks after she vanished. The autopsy results revealed a brutal and tragic death. According to court documents and police reports, the night before Mother's Day, Jessica and Taj had an argument over a pair of guinea pigs Taj had gifted her. What began as a disagreement quickly escalated into violence. Jessica hit Taj with a laptop, defending herself. Taj pinned her to the ground. In a moment of lethal force, Taj knelt on Jessica's neck and back, cutting off her ability to breathe. She struggled desperately but eventually stopped moving. At the time, their 7-month-old baby was in the same home, unaware of the horror unfolding nearby. Following the killing, Taj left Jessica's body lying on the floor for hours. He then wrapped her in a blanket, placed her in the trunk of his Jeep, and drove to the remote wooded area where her body was discovered. Jessica's sister visited Taj's home days later, where she saw a blanket in the trunk of his Jeep. Realizing what was hidden beneath, she demanded he open the trunk. Taj panicked and fled, triggering a police manhunt. She also found a divorce paper that was never filled.
In the arrest warrant, it states the day before Mother's Day, Hutchinson bought Edwards guinea pigs as a gift and she was angry about it. On Mother's Day, their argument led to a physical confrontation. According to police, he said he pushed her, which caused her ear to bleed. The next day, on Monday morning, according to the warrant, their arguing continued, and this time, she said Edwards hit him in the head with a laptop, grabbed a kitchen knife, and he pinned her to the ground. Eventually, she stopped moving and died. Later that same day, Edward's sister went to Hutchinson's home on Cinnamon Springs Road in South Windsor. Police say she told them she saw in the trunk of his Jeep what appeared to be a blanket covering a body. As she demanded him to open up the trunk, Hutchinson sped off. She also told police she found divorce papers filled out by Edwards but was never filed.
That same night, police arrested Taj Hutchinson at around 9 p.m.
In the documents, he went on to say he drove to a random GPS location and dragged the body to a wooded area, which is where Edwards was eventually found on Friday by Driver Road in East Hartford.
Taj was charged initially with first-degree manslaughter and held on $1 million bail.
Family members of Jessica Edwards showed up in numbers for 22-year-old Taj Hutchinson's arraignment at Manchester Superior Court. Prior to the hearing, community members stood outside with signs, hoping Hutchinson is denied bail. Magenta Ashley, a longtime friend of Edwards, telling Fox 61 she is just speechless, wanting to know how and why Hutchinson lied during the duration Edwards was gone.
How can someone pretend that they didn't know what was going on with her, and all this time they knew what the heck was going on? Like, you must have played it out real good for thinking nobody was going to come out and do nothing.
As evidence mounted, prosecutors upgraded the charge to murder. The investigation revealed extensive efforts to cover up the crime and deceive family and authorities.
A lot of new developments, Ben and Jen. The judge raised Hutchinson's bond to $1.5 million. South Windsor police also releasing an arrest warrant this morning, where in it police say Hutchinson admitting to killing Edwards during an argument. Now you can see behind me here outside of their home graduation balloons and candles, as Edwards was supposed to graduate next month.
In November 2024, Taj Hutchinson was sentenced to 27 years in prison. His sentence also included charges of risk of injury to a child and tampering with evidence. The sentence marked a grim milestone for Jessica's family, a mixture of justice and heartbreak.
Her teacher, remembering her determination that helped her reach that point.
She was a hard, determined worker, and her big goal was to graduate, and she really worked hard for that. And when she got pregnant, we were like, Jessica, it's COVID. Jessica, you really think this is going to happen for you? Is this really safe for you and the baby? And she said, Miss Carey, I'm going to do it.
Jessica's mother and sister expressed profound sorrow, saying no one should endure such a loss.
I feel empty. Her mom feels empty. I feel like I lost my best friend. I feel like I just died with her, honestly.
The couple's young son lost both parents, one to a violent death, the other to incarceration. Jessica's story highlights the devastating realities of domestic violence, how it can lurk beneath the surface of everyday life, hidden behind smiles, social media posts, and normal routines. But the third case is even a more disturbing one.
What's up, y'all? It's snowing outside. You know, still gotta work, still gotta go make it happen. You get up because you want to, not because you have to, and that's where we've positioned ourselves in our life, that we get up because we want to, not necessarily because we have to. But the fight is never finished.
Kayana and Ronald Burns weren't just preaching success, they were the blueprint. For years, they stood side by side, building a name that carried weight, hope, and ambition. Their brand, For His Glory Ministries, was a beacon for thousands, a faith-centered platform that inspired others to dream bigger, reach higher, and lean into their purpose. But that wasn't all. They also ran Critique Designs, a salon business that was more than just styling. It was mentorship, empowerment, and legacy building rolled into one.
The way you're going to get wealthy here in these United States is you have to figure out money that doesn't require your time, your effort, your energy, and that's how you're going to get wealthy. Entrepreneurship is the only option.
Online, they were everything: confident, polished, magnetic. Their love, their business acumen, their faith, it all radiated through their social media presence. For over 2 decades, they had been a team, in marriage, in money, in ministry, the kind of couple you'd want to be.
Hi, I'm Renardo Burns, and this is my lovely wife, Kiana Burns.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk to you about entrepreneurship and how it greatly benefited our life.
For those that don't know, my husband and myself, we've been entrepreneurs for the last 20 years. And our mission is to bring you guys along to become successful entrepreneurs as well.
And in being in business over 20 years, guys, one of the fundamental things that we believe is that you should never spend all of your business time building somebody else's business. You should be in a position of leverage income where you make money that doesn't require your time. So one of the things that we're going to teach you is, what does the wealthy people understand that the poor people don't?
But behind the affirmations and Bible verses, the cracks were widening. In 2021, they made a bold move, literally. They packed up their entire life in St. Louis and relocated to Atlanta, Georgia. It was supposed to be a leap of faith, a strategic expansion of their empire, but Atlanta wasn't kind. The move disconnected them from their home base, from their support system, from the roots they'd spent years planting.
I just felt the need to hop on here for just a moment, not long at all, and kind of just talk about, life changes.
They were now alone, just them and their kids, trying to build in unfamiliar territory. The burden of starting over weighed heavy, especially on Kiana. At first, the signs were subtle, then came a Facebook Live in October 2021, one that didn't feel like her usual. She wasn't bubbly or fired up. She looked tired. She spoke honestly about the struggles they were facing, the move, the isolation, the pressure of keeping everything afloat.
Look, y'all, I'm telling you, if you don't stay prayed up and you don't keep faith, things can swivel in and take you out.
People watching thought she was talking about entrepreneurship and about setbacks or about business stress.
For those that don't know, about 5-6 months ago, my husband and myself, we moved to Atlanta to expand our business.
But now, those words sound like something else, a moment of raw truth that slipped past all of us.
I'm telling you guys, the transition, it wasn't necessarily a smooth one. It wasn't a hard one either, but it was something that we chose to do. And when you come to a new state or city and you're trying to learn people and you're trying to learn, the things that they do, and that can be challenging. And coming here with our kids, just us and our kids,
In that same live, she hinted that things between her and Ronald weren't right, that the pressure wasn't just external, that something was wrong at the core.
If you don't feel like you're a strong enough individual, some things may take you out.
And she wasn't the only one feeling it.
I'm having one right now. And the reason I'm going live is because sometimes you gotta reach out and tell people that you need love.
Months later, Ronald shared that he and Kiana had actually planned to separate. Not a fight, rather, it was planned and a rational decision. They sat in their car, just the two of them, ready to dissolve not just their marriage but their business empire.
I guess about 7 months ago, something like that, 7 months ago, when my wife and myself, we decided we was going to get a divorce, that we ain't want to be with each other no more. We was just done with each other.
They wrote down the terms like business partners, dividing assets, agreeing on how to co-parent, mapping out what the rest of their lives would look like apart.
She was tired of me, I was tired of her. We was going to go on about our business. And as we sat in the truck and we said, hey, you know what, if we're going to get a divorce, let's be civil. We got kids, we got businesses. We said, well, let's just sit down and just talk about how this all going to work out. Meaning from a business aspect, how we was going to divide the business. And she go her way and I go my way, but we didn't want to compromise and jeopardize everybody else's future because we was tripping. Let's not destroy our businesses. Let's not tear each other's name down. Let's not do none of that because there's kids, there's family.
But as the night wore on, something shifted. Maybe it was nostalgia or guilt or whatever.
The night had reached us. God had changed our heart. And I start thinking back to Jesus when he was on the cross.
They decided not to go through with it. They stayed, they fought to keep the empire alive. But staying doesn't always mean healing, and in this case, it may have sealed their fate. Because something in Kiana had already started to break, and on November 6th, 2021, everything fell apart. It started like any other evening, nothing seemed off, at least not from the outside. But behind closed doors in their Sandy Springs apartment, pressure turned to volatility. No one knows what sparked the argument, but what's certain is this. Kayana snapped, and she reached for a gun, and then she shot Ronell. Then, realizing what she had done, or perhaps because she'd planned it that way, she turned the weapon on herself. By the time officers arrived, both were gone. There were no prior domestic violence reports or criminal complaints, no official red flags. Just that one live stream where Kayana had told the world, if you don't stay prayed up, things can swivel in and take you out. At the time, no one could have known how serious that statement was. But now it echoes like a final plea, a message from someone drowning in plain sight. Kayana Burns had spent her life building others up, speaking light into dark places, but in her final moments, it was her own pain that took over. And with one gun, 2 lives, and no goodbye, a legacy ended in silence. Let these stories serve as a powerful reminder. Social media often hides more than it reveals. Behind the smiles and filters, real pain can go unnoticed. If you or someone you care about is in an unsafe situation, don't stay silent. Speak up, seek help, and protect your peace. We extend our heartfelt sympathies to the families and loved ones left behind by these devastating tragedies. Their grief is unimaginable, and their loss is something no one should ever have to bear. If this video opened your eyes, please consider liking it, subscribing for more real-life true crime narratives, and turning on notifications so you don't miss what's next.